Hi,
Hi.
I'm Katie. It's nice to
Hi.
meet you.
I'm Danielle.
All right, I'm going to be working with you today. You want
Okay.
to go ahead and sit up? So, tell me, what made you decide to come in today?
Recently, I've just been feeling overwhelmed with school and work and graduation approaching. I don't graduate for a year, but it just kind of scares me.
So you've got a lot going on that's making you kind of feel some pressure.
Yes, lots of pressure.
Okay, so you said school, work, and graduation is coming up?
Yeah, well, like in a year and a half, but I still think about it every day because that means I have to get a job. I have a job, but job.
Got you. So there's a lot of implications that come with graduation.
Yes.
All right. So you said you're graduating. Are we talking about your bachelor's or what?
I'm currently in grad school. I graduate May 2019.
Okay, so yeah, you're right, a little over a year and a half.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have time to plan, but it just still scares me.
So it's the planning part of this
Yeah.
that concerns you.
Yeah, because I'm also wanting to move.
Okay. That's a big step. Where are you wanting to move to?
I want to move back to Florida with my family.
And is that where you're originally from?
Yes. Well, I lived there until I was about 6.
How do you feel about moving back there?
Again, it brings anxiety because it's with my other side of the family that over the years we've kind of lost contact. So it's also rebuilding those relationships. But I see them about once a year. They're coming next week, but it's still. We're still close, but it's still going to be weird living down the street from them rather than living down the street from my mom's side of the family.
Right. Okay. So this will be your father's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is that somebody that you've been close with over the years?
No. Whenever I do move, I still won't talk to my dad. I'll probably never talk to him. So it's my brother and his side, and like his mom and dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So graduation is not just a change in careers.
Yeah.
For you, it's potentially just a change in your entire setting.
Yeah.
It's kind of unknown.
Yeah, it's kind of unknown, and that's what scares me. And I have a year and a half. It's a long time, but I need to start planning now because.
Okay.
So yeah,
I heard you say work is kind of stressful for you also.
Yes, I currently work 2 jobs because I have a hard time saying no, and they always ask me to come in, so I work a lot. I'm always at work.
And so you balance 2 jobs with college as well?
Yes.
Is it full-time jobs or?
Well, I have 1 full-time job and then 1 part-time job. So I work at a pharmacy and it's full-time. But I also work at a daycare about 8 hours a week.
Okay, and how often are you in classes?
I'm in classes once a week.
Okay, and does that bring a lot of coursework with it, or is it primarily just lecture time?
It's all day Saturday, and then it's a lot of reading at night.
So it sounds like your schedule is pretty full.
Yeah, I had to put a social life aside, so. That's another thing. I kind of miss my friends and family, but I haven't seen anyone in probably 3 months. I haven't seen my mom in probably about 3 months.
So the responsibilities in your life have kind of taken away some of the supports in your life.
Yeah, because she probably only lives 30 minutes away, but I don't even have time to drive 30 minutes away to go.
Is your mother somebody you have a close relationship with?
Yeah, I'm pretty close to my mom.
So you said you have mom and other friends and family. Do you typically have a lot of close friends and family with you?
Mm-hmm. I do. Well, I don't have a huge family, but I'm close to my mom and my grandma and like 3 cousins.
Okay. So.
Oh, and an aunt.
All right. So there is a support system.
Yeah, I do have a. Yeah.
You just
don't
with all these responsibilities, you haven't had a lot of time to interact with them.
Yeah.
Now, your family and your friends that you interact with, when you're around them, is that normally a calming thing for you? Do they kind of help you work out and resolve issues like this?
Yes, my mom and my aunt. My grandma, not so much.
No.
She's a little crazy.
But she's still a comfort
Yeah, she's still comfort, but I have to. I mean, I could potentially go over there like once a week, but life's been kind of stressful the past few weeks. I had to skip those dates.
Yeah. Okay, well, I keep hearing you say the words anxiety and stress. Can you tell me kind of what that experience is like for you?
Um, I just get overwhelmed, and I wish I could say no. I feel like that's one of my downfalls. I need to learn to say no. I like to please everyone, and I need to learn that I can't. So, I mean, I think last week I found myself working at 4 different pharmacies
Wow.
in the metro, and I'm like, because people like to call in all the time, so they'll just call me like, "Hey, can you come in?" So last week I found myself going to work my lunch hour at another job, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Sounds like your already busy life is just kind of complicated by
Yeah,
this need to make others happy.
yeah. So I don't know. That's my issue. Is I need to start focusing on myself and not others. But
So tell me, if you could resolve all of these issues, if you just had a magic ability to just kind of make the change where you would be comfortable with your life right now, what would that look like?
if I could make a change,
If you could change anything in your life, you could set it up however you would want. What would it look like?
well, that's the thing. Although my life is busy, I like the way it is.
Mhm.
I like to be busy. When I'm not busy, I just find myself not being productive, and I like being productive. But if I could make a change, I would definitely cut down my hours at work and have time to like focus on myself. But
What do you mean with that? Focus on yourself.
like I wish I had a whole day to clean my house. I feel like that would be very therapeutic. But
Yeah.
again, as of right now, it's not happening, and we kind of just get by, like dust here and there.
So just a change in your hours, and
That would allow time for me to do the everyday needs I need to be doing.
okay. That seems like a kind of a short-term solution.
Yeah.
Now you said a lot of your anxiety rests with college ending soon and planning. So can you tell me, ideally, when you were done with college, what it is that you would like that to look like?
So like my plan, like what my
Sure.
ideal plan is.
Mhm.
When I graduate, I probably my ideal plan would be to move, and I would move with my brother's mom for a little bit until I feel like that would relieve a lot of stress and anxiety just to move down there and live with her for a little bit and not have to work and take time to find a job. So
So you just don't want to be rushed in that process.
yeah, I just don't want to be rushed. I feel like that's why I should probably start now. Yeah.
So do you know where you would like to work?
My ideal job would probably work in a juvenile correctional facility somewhere.
Okay.
That's my target is juvenile delinquents.
All right. So you prefer the teenager population?
Yes, I love kids, and that's another thing. Like the daycare, although it's only 8 hours a week, it gets me away from the pharmacy to work with kids, which I enjoy. So I mean, although it's an extra 8 hours a week, it's not really 8 hours a week. It's actually to get my mind off everything else. So
Yeah. Well, I can see as you talk about the things that you enjoy and the things that you're passionate about visibly, you relax.
Yeah.
And it seems easier for you to flow with that. Have you taken any sort of steps or anything towards career planning or trying to build connections in those areas? Or
I haven't.
okay, do you have any sorts of ideas of ways that you could do that? Okay. Now we talked about a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of stress. Um, I want to focus on that in a minute, but I'd like to hear from you kind of what your goals would be coming out of this, what you're interested in specifically. Like, just what would you like to come from this?
For me to set my own goals and find out what I want to do, because everything is so spread out. I don't know which direction, because although I want to move to Florida, I've also been talking to this guy, and we've been talking for a while, and he's stationed in Guam. So if that worked out, I would be moving to Guam when I graduate, and that's a huge step that way. And then there's Florida, and then my best friend, the girl I live with, she graduates nursing school this month, and she's moving to Colorado. So she also wants me to move there. So I guess out of this, it would be just like setting goals and actually having a plan when I do graduate of exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay, so a lot of, you want short-term goals for now, or?
Yes, for short-term goals, it would be I guess I haven't thought about short-term goals. All I think about is like long-term goals right now, and I guess I need to. So I guess coming out of this, I'd probably need to focus on my short-term goals and setting those short-term goals.
Sometimes the short-term goals help us to reach those long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to line out those goals down the road, and then maybe once you look at those down the road goals, it helps you to form some of the shorter-term goals in order to reach those. So I'm interested in doing some goal planning with you and some things. But first, what I'd like to do with you, I have an inventory. It's called a GAD-7.
Uh-huh.
What it is, it's a general anxiety disorder. You mentioned before that you're feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. And what it will do, it'll ask you some questions that's pretty brief. You'll go through and you'll answer them. And it will just kind of decide if what you're experiencing is more of like a clinical anxiety, something more serious that we would need to look specifically into treatment for that. Or if it's something a little bit more mild that just maybe with maybe career planning for you or some short-term goals and things like that, things that we could work through. So would you be interested in taking that?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to another room to get that set up, and my assistant will help you with that. And then we'll kind of come back in and we'll review the answers, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right, come on in. I've got the results here.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a seat. All right, so here you can kind of look with me here at the results. What it shows after we looked over your answers is that you are actually not going to be classified as clinically anxious.
Okay.
So it's not something that we would probably pursue medication for, or anything to that extent. Instead, if you're okay with it, some of the things I would like to do is kind of talk to you about some resources that could help you resolve some of this anxiety. Maybe do a little career planning with you. That way, maybe if you have something down to look at and give you details and plans, maybe that would be something. Do you feel like that would help? Okay. And so one of the resources that I want to talk to you about is we actually have a department here called Career Services. And one of the things they do is they bring you in, they kind of interview you, get to know you and your career interests, like you said, working with the juvenile delinquents and things like that. So they would kind of talk to you about that and then possibly get you hooked in with internships or just build relationships with people in that area that could maybe help you tie in to these people for job connections later.
Yeah, that would really help because I'm not really involved in school that much with work and everything. I wish I was more involved, but I do feel reaching out to these outside resources would probably benefit.
Okay. Now, you said school, so we'll cover that with the career inventory, or not career inventory, sorry, career services. And then you also mentioned the stress of work. So do you want to tell me a little bit more specifically? Is it just the time that is a frustration to you, or?
No, the workload itself is not that stressful. We're recently at a new store, so most of the time at work I study most of the time because there's really not a lot to do. So I do get a lot of studying, and while I'm at work, my boss allows us to take our computers, and I study a lot there. Actually, I probably study more at work than I do at home, because we go hours without a customer. I think the most overwhelming thing about work is that I recently graduated with my BSW last year.
Okay, so you have your bachelor's. You're pursuing your master's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so since graduation, I just feel like I haven't done anything with my bachelor's, and that, not that it was a waste, but I feel I should get a job that pertains to my degree, so I at least can be gaining experience, so that when I move, I'll at least have a background in social work instead of right now I'm working 2 jobs that neither one of them pertain to social work. So I'll start out with 0 experience, but I'll have these 2 jobs, but do they pertain to my career? So that's another thing.
The frustration isn't just with the time, it's that.
Yeah, it's not like the work itself, it's just, not wasting my time, because I do like my job, but I feel like I could be fulfilling more if I had another job and gaining experience while I'm in school.
Right, okay. So maybe something that would utilize your bachelor's degree. Right, because your bachelor's degree kind of leads into what you want to do with your master's, right?
Mm-hmm. So I just feel I should take action and find a job that pertains, even if it's just like a case management job in a correctional facility or something.
Okay. So do you feel prepared for a job like that?
And that's another thing. Again, I don't have experience in that area, so where do I begin to gain experience in that? Like, where do I go? I've been looking into some case management classes. Maybe I think you have to get certified. Okay. I did look into that a few weeks ago. So I'm currently looking into case management, getting certified in case management. So at least that way, for the next year, I could be a case manager somewhere.
Okay. You know what that sounds like to me?
What?
That sounds like a short-term goal.
That does seem like a short-term.
See, I feel as though you're a thinker, am I right?
Yeah.
So you've thought out a lot of these aspects, but maybe you're just overwhelmed by the big picture.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed, so I just don't do any of it. I have it all planned out, but I just need to do it.
Okay, so I want you to talk to me for a second. You said getting certified in case management. And do you know what you would need to do for that?
I looked online. I think it was something.gov, and you have to apply online, and then you have to go to a class for a little bit. I think it's like a 2-day class, and then you have to take an exam. But that's as far as I got. I haven't started the application or anything. So I guess back to short-term goals. In the intersession, I should probably look more into that, because right now I really don't have the time. But in December, I'll have a month to.
Okay, so would that be like the second week of December?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just write these down, because I think you've already got some pretty good ideas. Okay, so second week of December. We're gonna get into this online class to get certified in this. Okay, so how long did you say this process is?
If I read it right, I think it was only like a 2 or 3 day class. But then the online classes that I could take you have up to 6 months to complete it.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly. That's another thing. I probably need to call someone and figure out what exactly is in the time span of the class.
Okay.
Or getting certified.
All right. So we'll make this our first goal. Yes. Getting the certification. Once you get the certification, have you looked at all into case management jobs in the area?
Yeah, I have actually. There are jobs out there. Okay. I did go to the state website, and there are case management jobs. And even if it's not in with juveniles. I mean, I'd be okay with any correctional facility. I mean, I would prefer that, but if it doesn't work out, I feel any experience is better than no experience.
Right. Okay, so how about for a second goal, sounds like kind of what you're talking about, is that once we start working on the certification, what if our goal number 2 was to apply for a case management job at least a place or two? How many do you think?
To apply?
Uh-huh.
I say 4.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this addresses kind of your job anxiety, and it kind of helps prepare towards this
Yes.
post-graduation things, huh?
Yes, I think this is the beginning to my anxiety because every day I think about it, and every day I tell myself I need to do something, but I continue to just work more instead of focusing on getting a new job.
Okay. Let's see. The third area you told me that was giving you a lot of anxiety was deciding where you move, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's make a third goal something to do with that. What do you think you could do to help resolve your anxiety there?
I need to reach out and I need to talk to my family and actually set a plan like, hey, are y'all willing to help me in this area? If I'm willing to do this, are you willing to do that? To make sure it's a set plan. Like, I need to find out which one's the most stable plan.
Okay, so speak with your family?
Yeah, I need to speak with my family, and I need to discuss with my roommate, like, what her future plans are, like, what our budget is, and
okay, so we're going to make our third goal to speak with family and roommate about what moving out would look like.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about this? After you talk to them, figure out what they have in mind and what that would look like. How about for a 4? You sit down and make a pros and cons list for each one of those and decide for you what would be most beneficial. How about that?
That is, I haven't thought about that.
Because it sounds like you're pulled in a lot of directions.
Yes.
And then maybe this would help you put into perspective for yourself what's most beneficial instead of what would be best for these people around you. Because sometimes it's just more important that you take care of yourself first. I know as a social work major, you probably know a lot about self-care.
Yes.
Okay. So we addressed work, maybe something moving towards our career goal, and then living arrangements. Were there any other things that you think should be on here?
I think that addresses most of them. Those are my top concerns in my life right now, are the future and working towards my future. So.
Okay. Well, we've got some measurable steps down here that may help put that into perspective, where it's no longer such a big, scary concept, but maybe something easier to break down.
Yeah, so break down.
Yeah. So this covers those areas. Is there anything else that you feel like you need to work towards, or?
I think my main goal right now is to get certified and find a new job. So I think that's going to be my next.
You know what? I just remembered. You told me that another thing that was giving you some grief right now is that you don't have time to be around your friends and your family.
Oh, yes.
And that's your support system, right?
Yes. But I feel after December 2nd, when we start this, that I'll have plenty of time to reunite with them. And my family's very supportive. They're not like, oh, you haven't talked to me in a few weeks, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. Like, they totally understand how
Yeah.
busy and hectic my life is, that they're just there when I want to talk. Like, they don't call me every day and say, "Oh, you're ignoring me." They wait for me to call them. So after December, after finals, I know that they'll be right there where.
Okay, well then how about this? Right in between 1 and 2, which our first goal was the getting certified or looking that up, and the second goal was applying. How about we put right in between there, spend some time with family. That way you can get yourself back around that support group that can help you. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today, or any other needs that you have?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well then, I'm gonna leave you with these goals that we helped you with today. And if you need to contact me later, we could make another session where you could come in and talk or plan. And I'm gonna give you those resources to get in contact with the career planning here.
Okay.
And I think we're good to go.
All right.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.